welcome back everybody. I think today we're just going to go over there and see what's on the shelf and just grab something and see if we can get it going. So let's go find something. Alright, let's walk over here to the cases and see what we can pick out to work on today. There's so much to choose from. Most of these are all running. I think these are mostly running. Well, let's go down over here and take a look. Bunch of F units. Oh, look. There's something. Let's take a look at this. This is an old Revell switcher. I bought this a few years ago. I don't even think I've ever had it out of the box to run. And you can see what I paid for it. Got it at a train show. So I probably needs... We'll see if it runs and take it apart and clean it and get it oiled and lubed up and see what it'll do. It says it's got a 5-pole motor. So that's good. Only paid $3 for it. I don't think I've ever tried to run it. Let's see what we can do with this thing. Get it out of the box here. And alright, here we go. We got this on the bench here. We're going to take this out. Not sure if I've ever had it out or anything. It's been sitting up there on the shelf for, probably 2-3 years. I've not really ever come across too much Revell stuff. I've got a few train cars, but this is the only locomotive I got. Like I said, you see what I paid for it, so it is worth the gamble. So, it's got a 5-pole motor, gear driven. Looks really nice. So, let's take it out and take a look at it. I don't know much history on the Revell locomotive line. I would say 60s. Now I know Revell is still around today. Been around for many years, building model kits, planes, boats, cars, whatever. They still are around today, and I have many of their model kits myself. So I seen this, I thought it would be pretty cool to have, especially just for $3. So it looks pretty nice. Missing the front coupler, got a rear coupler. You can see the drive there. I'm not sure if Revell made their own stuff or had somebody make it for them. They probably had somebody make it for them. So it's a little switcher. All-wheel drive. We'll know more once we tear into it. Needs a good cleaning. And the insert. Got some paperwork in here. Let's see here. Revell, Venice, California. Hey, I wonder if I fill this out, I can still get the warranty. Huh. Mailed within 2 weeks. Oh, well, you know, I've had it for a couple of years, so that's not going to be good. Let's see what this is. All Revell locomotives and sets carry a full 1-year warranty. I wonder if that's for when well, it'd be expired because I've had it for a few years. So let's say the above warranty is valid only if the warranty card enclosed in your Revell electric train set is properly completed and mailed to the Revell factory within 2 weeks. Well, we expired on that one. This warranty does not apply to electric bulbs or finish except where defective at time of manufacture. The warranty does not apply if the locomotive or set component has been improperly used, abused, mishandled, tampered with in any way. Well, we're about to tamper with it. So, I would say it's going to need a good cleaning, some oil. There ain't even any oil on these gears, it don't look like. So this may have, I don't even know where the coupler went. Oh well, it's got one coupler. So we'll pull this apart and give it a cleaning some fresh oil and grease and take a look at it. Alright, this shell comes off fairly simple, about like an apron. These little hole here with a pin, one on the other side just like it. You just take your little flathead screwdriver and put under it and pry it up just to the hair. Get up over that pin. Wow, that pin broke. Dang. Oh, look at that. It says, it's got Revell. See what it says in there. It's got model numbers. It says Revell 1956. So that must have been about the time this was made, 1956. I figured the 60s. But it's close. Let's take a look at this. Got a big old weight in there. I wonder if that's the same weight that I've had around here since I was a little kid. And you know what? I've always wondered what that weight went to since I was a little kid. There it is. This weight. By golly, that's the exact same weight. Oh, I'll be damned. I've had this weight since I was a little kid. My first train set. I found it down in my grandma's basement. So I've held on to this since, oh, probably late 70s. And I've always wondered what it went to. I figured it went to some old Tyco or something, you know. But over the years, I've never seen one. But it's always been on my bench. I've always had it. I've never lost it. I'm almost 50 years old, so I've had it for many years. And I've always wondered where this weight went. By golly, that's what it goes to. I bet. It looks exactly the same. Out of an old Revell locomotive. It's got like a Pitman style motor with a gear on it that powers that gear, then a shaft that powers that truck. So it looks just oxidized mostly. Other than that, it looks pretty dang, I guess what you want to call new. There ain't a drop of grease or oil anywhere I see in that. So now we'll see how these trucks come apart. I'm not sure. I've never worked on one of these ones. So let me look at it here real good off camera. I had to look up, see if I could find a diagram for this. I actually couldn't find any diagrams exactly for this one. I went to HO Seeker and couldn't find this model. From what I can tell, I had to use the F7 diagram because it's the only diagram I could find that had this drive system in it. So these were made in 56, but I believe this is like about a 58 model, because from what I can see from diagrams, the 1956 models basically had a motor here in the center and had like a belt drive. And then they changed to like this Pitman motor with the gear drive. So it's a little bit newer, just probably a couple years. But this first came out in 1956. But I believe this is about a 58 or so, just because of this style drive. With the Pitman motor and the gears. So I had to figure out how to get this apart, and I want to look at the diagram. I don't want to break anything. But got this truck cover on here, got it off, and they come off pretty easy. You just got a little tab right here, kind of pry it up a little bit. It's a little tricky. And then, well, let's see here. Do the other side. A little tab right there. They just snap on. See how it popped up? And then the other one, and then it comes right off. Then you got tabs on the other side too, but it pops right off. Well, it does have some grease in there, so we're going to clean it out. Other than that, it's got one truck has pickups on both sides, it looks like. Back truck The truck with the motor on it has the pickups. The other truck's just driven. Don't look like it has any pickups. Don't look too bad in there. Grease still looks, well, a lot of hair and stuff. So I'm going to clean all that out. And these probably just pull right out. I would say, yep. So almost looks like something similar to an after maybe. Wheel sets. So I'm going to pull these axles out, clean them off. Get a bunch of hair and stuff in there. And clean the wheels. And then try to clean these pickups just a little bit. Backside of these wheels. Okay, we got all those parts out and cleaned pretty good. Now these axles, or these drive shafts, they pop right out. See, this is for this side here. They just slide down in there and slide back out. So, you know, they're pretty, nothing to it. Slide in, slide out. Easy to clean. And there was a lot of carpet fuzz in that. That's for sure. It was plumb full of carpet fuzz. On the axles and all the gears and everything. It was pretty nasty. So remember, kids, don't play with your trains on the carpet, or that's what'll happen. You'll get carpet fuzz all in your trains. So now, got it all cleaned up, got all the contacts, the wheels, everything, I think cleaned up good. So now I'll re-lube this. Probably put some lithium grease on these gears here and the shaft here, and right back in behind here I'll probably put a little bit of that lithium grease and slide it back down in there. And the same with this drive shaft here. Put a little lithium grease on it and slides back down there. Now I couldn't get these pulled out, the little contacts, the brass contacts. They got real short wires. They're all soldered in right there on those points on each side. So I just took a little nail file thing and just cleaned them up a little bit. And after I washed them down real good with Q-tip and mineral spirits, there's a lot of grease in there. Somebody greased it up pretty good along with all that carpet fuzz. So we get this back together. It's pretty easy. Just drop the drive shafts in. Then you get your little drive shaft connector. It goes in between them. So you put this one in first. Then you put this little short drive shaft in, and then hook it up to this one and kind of work it in there. So not too hard probably. And then you put your axles down in there. And then put some drops of oil on the joints. Everything's plastic, so there's just a little bit of drop of oil there where those axles go. So, and then the covers, got those cleaned up. Those should just pop right back on, snap back on there, and then we'll work on the getting the motor cleaned up a little bit there. So. Get this back together here. Alright, we got the one truck back together. Kind of show you how to put this back together, if I can here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on here. A little dab there. Not too much. And then we got that little drive shaft here to full width. I stuck it back in there. So let's see if we can get it lined up. There we go. Well, we had it. Try it again. Get those little ears lined up, shoved in. Alright, move it over a little bit, slide it back a little bit, slide her down. There we go. And the wheels, doesn't really matter which way you put them in, which one goes where. Good thing is if you got mixed up, you can use these wheels for up here. You can switch wheels all around, looks like to me. No big deal. Just a little bit of grease on there. And then, like I said, I'm going to put just a drop of oil right here. Not very much. And then the cover. Just on the front. Push it back. Make sure it's on there good. Snaps down. And that's it. Get a little bit of grease off there. Yeah, whatever that is, I don't know what that is. A little bit of grease down in the hole. Okay. So that's all back together. That should be good and clean. So like you got to make sure you got your contacts that go behind these wheels pulled in when you put those wheels in there. Just do one wheel at a time. So now I'll clean up this engine, this motor here. Looks like those bushings are just held in with springs. So I'll pry those springs off, pull the bushings out. Take a look at those, clean them up, and clean up the motor there, and that probably then grease up these gears, big drive gears. Drop a little oil on that motor here and there. Now, if you need to take the motor off, disassemble this truck, and you'll see us how you get the drive shaft out, the axles and the drive shaft and everything out of there. There's a screw that holds that engine or that motor in place there. Little flathead screw. I don't think I'm going to take the motor out. So I should be able to do it right here because I don't want to disconnect the wires. So try to keep it all original. I don't want to have to rewire it and all that. And hopefully the light bulb works. I don't have to put LED or nothing in. I really don't want to do that because I like to keep this one as close to original as possible with the original masking tape on it and stuff. It's kind of cool. So I said you got a little spring right there, holds that bushing in. Just pry it off and that should fall right out. So let me do that here real quick. Okay, I got that motor cleaned up. Just pulled those bushings out, cleaned them up. They weren't even dirty. There wasn't a spot of dirt on those. And then the motor itself, I just, it wasn't bad at all. So I just cleaned it up with some mineral spirits on a Q-tip and then took a toothpick and cleaned out those little crevices and stuff. And then a couple drops of oil and then some grease there. Just got to work it around. And it spins all good. So you might be able to get a fiberglass pencil in there after you get the, I don't know if there's enough room to get one in there or not. You probably have to take the motor off. And like I said, you have to remove the wheels and the axles and the drive shafts and all that to get to that screw to take that engine off and then unwire it. And then you can take the motor apart and give it a really good cleaning. But it wasn't really that bad. So I just wiped it down with a Q-tip and some mineral spirits real good. So now we'll take it over to the test track and see what this thing might do. All right, here at the test track. Oh, I got another project sitting on here. I'll get you a little sneak peek. Hopefully it'll run good. I'm building a 412-2 Revell SW7 with a can motor. I got the motor drying on the mount I made for it. So it does run. I don't know how good it's going to run. So let's set this off the side here. Another old Hudson. We'll set this on the track here. And keep our fingers crossed. Turn the power on. Look at that. Light works. It's on there good. Other direction. I think I might need to clean my track. Yeah. So there you go. That's the first time I've ever ran it. It's the only time it's ever been out of the box, I believe, since I've had it. I might have pulled it out once to look at it. I don't think I've ever even tried to run it. So now I'll put the shell back on it, and I might see if I can get a Katy on there. I don't know. We'll see. And maybe pull some cars with it. I added a Katy coupler to this locomotive. I put it on the front where it was missing. So number 5 fit right in there. It's at the right height and everything. I think I'm gonna leave the hook horn one on this side, just in case they ever decide, you know, to run some hook horns or some Katy coupler cars. So, and then on the shell, I washed it. The horn had fell off. I glued it back on. Put some windows and kind of see. I don't know. Just some clear plastic in there, thin plastic. Cut it out and glued it in with that Elmer school glue. So the good thing about that stuff, you get it on the window, you just leave it because it dries clear, so you can't see it after it dries. So I had a big glob on this one window on the end, and looks like it dried pretty good. Can't see it. Yeah, it's clear now. So also I found that it's got like this little piece that sticks out here on the bottom. That was broke off. So I'm going to reconstruct that and then get some paint that's real close. I don't care about it being perfect, but something just close. So, but I think that's going to be about it for this locomotive. So I'm just cutting some styrene pieces, waiting for that to dry. Then I'll file it to the shape, and then there's a little piece. You got the, like, it looks like a little step or something. It glues on, and then I'll just touch it up with some paint. Something close. I thought about doing it in gray. It looked like it'd been repaired but not painted. So we'll see. But turning out pretty good. I'm going to leave the original headlight in it. I ain't putting no LEDs or nothing in it. So I don't want to get too crazy with this locomotive. I just want it to be nice. So I'll be able to pull either with the Katy or the hook horn style. So let me get this finished up here, and then we'll be back. Okay, I got this shell all fixed up and ready to put back on. I said the horn was broke off, or it fell off or something, so I glued it back on. Got windows in there, just out of some clear plastic, thin clear plastic. And that piece right there has been broke off, so I made a new one out of styrene pieces. Glued it all on, filed it down to about the shape I needed, and painted it. That yellow is a little more yellow, but oh well. I painted the handrails black, yellow, front ones. So, well, I thought this was like brand new, still in the box type of locomotive, but no, it ain't. So now I'll put the shell back on, and let's see here. Put the headlight in the front. This goes back on like an Athearn shell. Just slips on there. It's got a couple little things that it hooks into. So maybe, I don't know. There we go. And then down the back here. Well, there we go. Push it down on there. And there we go, I think. Just cleaned it and it's still got dust on it. There it is. It looks pretty good, especially with the painted handrails and the glass and the windows put back in it. I don't know if it originally had windows or not. I like to put windows back in the locomotives. It kind of keeps the dust from getting in there so much. Plus, if you have a layout like mine, you got spiders and stink bugs and all kinds of other creatures flying around, it keeps them out of there too. So now we'll take it over to the layout, hook up a couple cars to it, and run it. Like I said, I've got the hook horn on one side and then the Katy on the other side. That way we can run either or. Most of my cars are Katy, but I still have a lot that's hook horn, so we can run either or. I got this Revell SW7, I believe is what it's called. We got it on the layout here. We're going to run it with a few cars. So we'll run around for a bit, see how it does. I got some other trains running. It comes across the bridge. I don't have it turned up all the way. It really doesn't have too good of slow speed. That old thing is pretty quiet. Okay everybody, let's take a look at the locomotives we ran today on the layout. This one here is a Bachmann Spectrum Union Pacific locomotive. It runs pretty good. Nice and quiet, smooth. And this old AHM, I can't remember what this thing's called. I never can remember what these are called. But these things are cool looking, I think. I picked this up a few years ago at a train show. It's the only one I got. And it runs pretty good. And then an old Athearn Union Pacific locomotive, runs good. And then this locomotive, the Bachmann Spectrum, it runs good. It's a nice runner, runs slow, quiet. So we ran this one, another Bachmann Spectrum, Baltimore, Ohio. That's a good runner. And you all remember this one, the Athearn PTS in Ohio. It ran really well. And then we also ran this Athearn F unit, ran real well. It's a nice heavy locomotive, pulls really good. Okay, here's the Revell SW7 switcher. I believe this one is a 1958, maybe a little newer, just because of the motor that's in it. I think the earlier versions had a different style motor in it. So I think this is like the 58 and newer style. So I'm not too sure. I don't know how long they made them or when they began. From what I could read on HO Seeker, this is the F units. I found a diagram to an F unit which had this same setup in there, same motor, same old everything in there. And then the diagram for the SW7s from 1956 had a completely different drive system in them. They were like a rubber band style or something. So I think this one here is a 1958, maybe a little bit newer than that. Not sure. I don't know when they quit making them. So it ran pretty good for being almost 65 years old, I think. And then I've got it all fixed up, made it look a lot nicer than it was, I guess. It had some broken pieces on it. Painted a handrail always makes it look better. Put the glass in it. So it looked like it was missing a coupler, so I put a Katy on that side right there, and then left the hook horn there. But This is a nice little runner. Didn't run very loud. Ran actually pretty quiet. Pulled those cars no problem. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the video on this Revell SW7 switcher locomotive. It's the only Revell locomotive I've got, and I seen it over there when I was looking through all that stuff, and I thought that would be a good one to do. I've not seen very, if any, of the Revell locomotives at train shows or anything. I'm sure they're out there, but I just haven't looked for them. So this is the only one I got, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to get into that and show you all how they come apart. Figure it out myself too. And I thought it was pretty cool that I've been carrying this dang old weight around with me for almost 40 years. And I finally figured out what it goes to. I always thought it was little Tyco weight or something, but I've got a lot of Tyco locomotives and this don't go in any of them. And then when I popped that open and I seen that weight, I knew exactly where this went. That's crazy. But I've carried this thing around for 40 odd years just to see if I could ever find out where it belonged. Now, the funny thing is this is the only piece I have. I have no idea whatever happened to the locomotive it came out of. So, but that's pretty cool. Got that saw, and we got that running, and it ran pretty good. Didn't really have much slow speed. Other than that, I didn't have it turned up all the way. It ran fairly well for 65 years old, I think. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.